Okay, Jackie, thank you so much for taking time for me today to chat about what it's been like working with me. So, um, yeah, so, maybe you just want to start with telling the ladies how it is that we started working together.
So I ran across Judy. I have no idea when, or how we got connected. But in February, she was running a week, just kind of about your business and branding and how that's important. So I took, I think it was in the beginning of February. I kind of was like, oh, I'm going to take this week class. And the first day, I was like, oh, she's good. She's nice, but next day, it's gonna like die off, and each day got better and better and better. And I was like, I need to work with this lady. I need to work with her. The nuggets I took from that class was just really about your branding not being your logo and it really being you. And I think we always hear that it's kind of, oh, your logo, and then people will see it. They don't really talk about all the components. And she really gave some nuggets that I was like, I had never really thought about it that way.
That's awesome. Okay. And so then it was like at the end of that challenge, I introduced my branding and marketing intensive class. And then, but I was going to some retreat down in Florida. So you and I connected while I was down there. And why did you feel like you got some good information through the challenge, but what made you want to jump into that 6-week intensive?
Well, I mean, I looked at it and I was just like, okay, I've been working on my business. I've worked for businesses, but it's always been someone else's brand. How am I going to figure out my own brand? And do I want to spend a year trying to figure that out, or having someone give me a rubric to make it happen quicker? Because I'd already been working on it, but it was slow progress, but not as fast because I'm very driven. I wanted to be much faster. And I saw your lives as well, in the Florida retreat, and all the ladies talking. Y'all were sitting up around, outside, and they kind of said their little takeaways. And then I realized you were somebody people was strong Christian women, and all the other classes I'd seen that they weren't really believers. They didn't really have what I felt was essential to even do a partnership. So from there, I was like, I need to work with her.
So let's share with the ladies what happened in those 6 weeks together during the branding and marketing intensive.
Oh man, there was so much going on. The ladies were so nice. That was one really cool thing. And there was like people that were me just really starting out, people that were really more down the road, but they were having the same struggles that I was having. So that was really refreshing just to see the diversity of the ladies in the group. It wasn't all like people, oh, I've been doing this 20 years and I know my stuff. It was people, we're all sharpening iron, my mom says, like we just got to sharpen each other. So the first week I was like, okay, what really is a brand? Like, oh no. I took like 7 pages of notes, which is I think I was writing everything you said, Judy. But I just, it was at first I was like, okay, this is going to be a lot. Then I had that peace that God was like, no, it's a lot because you're building your future forever. This is a foundation of what you're doing forever. So you're doing all of this on the front end. So on the back end, you don't have to struggle. And after that first week, I was like, okay, she told me not to get overwhelmed. That's one of her rules. And I'm just going to take this piece by piece and I'm going to do my think work and then not overthink my think work. I'm an overthinker. So I'm like, okay, it's done. It's done. And just so each week you built on a principal element that we need to work on. If it was copyright or our brand or brand colors. And each week it started building and building. And by week 4, I realized I'm like, ooh, I don't have one brand. I have 2. Oh no. So, because you gave us that great one-on-one during the branding and marketing intensive, that I wasn't even expecting that. I don't know if I didn't read all the print. That was such an a la carte great thing for me. But it was funny. After a month, I was like, I have 2 brands now. I actually was able to go back and do all of those steps for my second brand and not be scared. It was so much easier the second time around. And that's when I realized I'm like, I know this stuff. I really know it.
That is awesome. And so you mentioned the phrase think work before, and I personally don't know of any other brand strategist or coach that talks about think work. But as you know from working with me, I'm pretty serious about it. Like, to me, especially if my background as a lawyer, I'm a thinker. And what I find is that if we really want to, as you said, I love the way you said that, build that foundation for your business, you've got to think about what your brand is, who you are, what you're all about. So can you just like even tell a little bit more about what the think work is all about? Because each week I taught live and then I gave you success work or think work. So the first time you were presented with that, what did you think? Was it kind of like strange? Were you thinking about things that you never thought of before?
I was thinking about things that I never thought of before, but like I said, I'm a thinker. So I was like, oh no, I'm about to go down the rabbit hole, too much thinking. But it was good thing. You gave us framework. Like you would say, what, kind of voice do you want to be? Do you want to be bold? Do you want to be educational? Do you want to be informative or whatever? What tone? Do you want to be funny? I had never thought about it that way. I'm like, well, because I'm a big information person, I'm going to give them the facts. And then I'm like, well, is that just because that helps me, or is that going to relate to my audience? All of those things, like you gave good questions to frame how the think work should go. And then I would just brain dump words, phrases. Sometimes I drew some pictures, and I can't draw worth a lick. But I drew some little figurines. I'm like, oh, if I interact with this person. So the think work, it's important. You can't go through the modules without thinking. Like if you're not thinking, you're probably not really diving down into your goals or even your pain points with the business or what your audience's pain points would be.
Right, right. And the brand, as you know, to me, it all starts with your ideal client and going really, really deep there. And so without taking the time to time block and think about what concerns my ideal client, who is it, man, woman, or is it a couple? Where do they live? And more than just those basic demographics, but going really, really deep. And it makes you think outside the box. So was that hard for you to identify and go that deep?
Well, I think we all started, everyone in the branding market, we're thinking so at the surface. I want to work with whatever, I want to work with salon. What kind of salon? Where are they located? What the age is? Do they have kids? Do they not? Are they a full service salon? Those are all of the things I start thinking about in depth to get, like you called it, an avatar. Like, so I made it like an actual a person. What place? Where do they live? And when you think about it that way, it made it easier for me to do my marketing, because I was like, okay, these are the people that I'm attracting, and these are the people I'm not trying to attract. I don't want someone that's, I was like, I have locks, but I don't want someone that's like laying out there with tattered clothes saying I'm in nature and I like natural salon. Like I was starting to think, oh, these are my images to relate to my niche market.
And I love
that wouldn't have happened if I wouldn't have been thinking that hard. It would have been I would have used too many different images, and I wouldn't even been talking to my audience at all.
That's pivotal, because really it's that is the purpose of branding, to really inform the messaging, how you say things, what words do you use, and where do you show up, right? So that is just so good, and most people miss that and they wonder why they're struggling. So let's talk about some of the things you've done since February, because you have been one busy lady and you're a mom of two. And how old are your kids?
2 and 7.
They're the cutest. They're the cutest. So tell the ladies what you've accomplished in like 3 months or something.
Oh man, a lot. I mean, and I haven't had a lot of overwhelm, because I like you told us not to get overwhelmed. So sometimes I create it. So I've now I have someone helping me with like my copyright. I did a new logo, because my first logo was not working. So now I have 2 logos, 2 brands, 1 website up, 1 I've duplicated and waiting to launch in July. I'm on Instagram now. I have, in a month, I got about 240 followers. And that month, with just knowing what images on there. I have assistant. She only works like 3 or 4 hours a week, but she helps me with my images, which helped me get over my fear of building a team early. That was really, I was like, I can do everything myself, but that's just not true. So I was able to overcome that and build that. I was able to launch my Wildling Botanicals brand under my new branding and that better niche market. And I got the framework ready for in July to launch my Wildling herbs. I did so much. I'm like, ooh, now it's listed. I didn't think about it. It's like I'm on Facebook now. I have a LinkedIn that looks better. I go live probably 3 to 4 times a week now on my brand pages, 1 time a week on my personal page. I have let my personal page people know what I do. So I've converted that. So they actually know what I do and they're able to find me on my social media platforms. It sounds like a lot, but it was an easy process when you have the steps to get there. I think mine was jumbled up in the noise. Like I had all of the pieces, but I wasn't sure how to like phase it out. I didn't have a strategy. Yeah, I didn't have a strategy to get it out there. It was like, oh, I got to do all of this at once. And I'm like, no, you got to do this first. This is completed, then you got to do this. So I didn't have a whole bunch of stuff started and not completed. But now I feel like it's easier for me now. When I go live, I'm like, hey, y'all, it's Jackie. It's easy. It's much easier.
And part of it is your personality. I mean, you're just a naturally bubbly, everybody loves you kind of lady anyway. But if I hear what you're saying, I think starting at the Branding and Marketing Intensive and us working together helped to give you the step-by-step and the strategy to know how to roll out this brand new business.
Oh, for sure. It's like I had some of the stuff or what I thought I knew. I didn't really think it all the way out. I was always surface deep. And the Branding and Marketing Intensive, to me, was key to get through the noise and get the strategy on what I wanted to do. One of the things that, like when we first started the Branding and Marketing Intensive, you said, get in some groups of your niche market. And that helped me frame a Google Doc survey that I still use, which is going to help me even more with salons with like, so even me just making that, I got to talk to like 50 salon owners and I've been able to build from there. But I wouldn't even thought, like I was in the groups, but I was like, I don't, I don't want to talk to anybody. And I'm pretty outgoing. I'm like, well, what do I say?
So just so they're clear, so you're talking about, I suggested go into those Facebook groups where your ideal clients are so that you can build relationships, because that's what it's all about. And from that, then you develop this survey that opens the door, right? And also gives you beautiful market research information to use.
Oh yeah. The market research, because that was your thing. Well, and it's like, I have friends in the industry, but I was like, well, if I'm going to be all over the US, I need to talk to people all over the US. And the groups, that has helped me with the framework, with even offering some coaching services now that me and you talked about, because I saw a need over the last 3 months that I didn't really know was there. And now I'm like, oh, I can meet that need. Like, that's so great. I have 3 months worth of research to back that I can help with that need. And I have that business background. So even you telling me that has expanded my business, and what I was thinking I was going to do even 3 months ago was so much smaller than my real potential, I think. I think I'm thinking more, not even sky's the limit. I'm like, I'm in outer space now. What I'm thinking about what I want to do.
Yeah, and just today, right before we jumped on, we talked about those different coaching programs for you and the salon owners, and there's different services you could bring. And we're talking, ladies, about higher level, packaging of programs worth $3,000, $5,000 and more, because that's the level of experience that Jackie brings to them in building their salon business. So she's not just bringing hair products or other products that they would sell, but she is serving as kind of a coach and a consultant and a true resource. And so we together have just formulated some great ways for Jackie to make some extra money. That's awesome. And now, how is it that we're doing that? That's because you continued to work with me, and I'm blessed by that, when you jumped in to the Academy, the Blessed to Thrive Academy. So can you talk a little bit about the ladies that may not know what in the world the Blessed to Thrive Academy is? Tell them kind of what that's about.
Well, the Academy, it's like, I'm all like the branding and marketing intensive on steroids, like with the great information. It's because we got the basis in the 6 weeks. So in 6 weeks, I'm like, okay, I have a brand, I know who I'm going to talk to, but you have great experts on like the social media, which I think everyone is trying to figure out what the heck they're doing on the social media. Then it's like copyright, from Kathleen or whatever, copyright and court. And now I'm like, okay, I'm getting those tidbits. So you having all of those Thriver experts on top of your expertise, I mean, and the price is, in my opinion, so cheap, to do it. I was like, oh, I need to keep this going. This is affordable. This is affordable, because even just having the weekly Thriver expert, 1 or 2 Thriver experts, and then Friday you back it up with this 2 hours of all the wonderful ladies in the Academy. And we get to encourage each other, bounce ideas off of each other, and follow up with what we accomplished during the week. And that has been great. I have a great accountability partner, Amy. She was also someone that went through the branding and marketing intensive with me. She gave me some great business ideas that have been lucrative for me. And I wouldn't even have that. So it's like the free class, it's like, yeah, you get a lot with the free, but the branding and marketing intensive is a very low cost too, but it frames out your business. It really frames it out. And then after you have framed it out, going into the Academy, it's given me more tools to really build it into my empire that I'm trying to do.
There you go. That's right. And what you hit on was something that I'm especially proud of, which is the accountability partners among the sisters, which we are sisters in Christ in the group, and the whole idea of collaboration. Because what I found, and I've been doing business for more than 15 years, when you expand and get to know people, not just your clients, but other business owners that are like-minded, like they're inside the Academy, then not only do we share ideas and bounce them off each other, but we learn how to work together and help each other in real ways. For example, with my She Is Extraordinary podcast, you're going to be on that podcast when, in next year, when we see where you are, okay, because you're just getting started now. I have no doubt you, Jackie, are going to be one of my huge success stories. And so, jumping on my podcast is going to get you more exposure. You working arm in arm with some of the other ladies that I've hooked you up with, like the trademark attorney, like the social media wealth strategist, right? It's all about connections, right? And it's the relationships and the strategies and Jesus Christ as the foundation, which is really where the power is in everything that I do.
Oh, I agree. I didn't even talk about that. It's like, you got me like you opened up your network, and that's one thing. Other groups or other coaches or other people, I've looked at other programs, some that are just outrageous in price. They don't give you access to their network. Like if I needed a trademark attorney, you were like, I have one. If you need to talk to someone about copyright or how that looks, I have someone. And opening up that network is so important. And no one in the group is cutthroat. There's multiple realtors in the group, and they're all building and encouraging each other. There's multiple stagers in the group, and they're all doing stuff. There's stylists and everybody in the group. No one is cutthroat. They're all opening up their whole entire network because we're sisters in Christ and they're trying to elevate. And that's one thing that sets your program apart is you are available. You're pouring out your heart and your passion and your network. And I've been in other groups. I was going to purchase another group. One lady didn't even care what I was talking about. Like I told her my whole life dream, and she told me, that's nice. I was like, is she for real? Like, I just told you what my whole life goal was. She said, oh, that's nice. And just told me her price. She didn't even care that I was talking. And I think that that's just what makes your program stand apart, Judy, is because you have your own identity. And you're saying, I have a network. I'm a sister in Christ. Let me help you, sister, to succeed. And I think that's another reason why from February to now, I haven't been afraid to have my 2 brands. I haven't been afraid because I know I have the support that I need, and no one's going to leave me high and dry.
That's for sure. Yeah. I pride myself, Jackie, and I'm so glad you feel it. I want to make myself available as much as I can. And I want to be there like so many people. And I was a course junkie like you may have been, right? And so you look at all these people and they're influencers in their communities, in their skill set, in their area of expertise. But when you get in, they're nowhere to be found. And I'm like, I will never, ever, ever do that. That is insane. Well, this has been awesome. I do have one more thing. And I want to kind of ask you to go back to before we met. And again, that's a God thing, how we even met. So thank you, Jesus, on that. You strike me as a very confident woman. So, but I have no doubt that your mindset and your, I guess your confidence has grown in the past 3 months. Am I right about that?
Yeah, I mean, I've never really had confidence issues unless it was my appearance, when I had my skin journey and hair journey. But it's like, you can be confident, but when you have the tools, you get confident and you get driven. And that driven part is what really is propelling me faster and faster. It's like, okay, now I'm even more confident. Now I have the tools that I'm like, that strategy is driving me forward. That now I'm brisk, instead of me walking towards it slowly, I feel like I'm running towards my dreams because I have that strategy. Mm-hmm. And I think it's really about the strategy. You helped me get the muddled up stuff clarified. So now I can add my confidence and me being driven with the strategies. So I guess it's confidence, being driven, and the strategies to get there. Those 3 things is really what's pulled me from February, from one shaky brand to 2 brands that I know for sure are going to blossom and grow. And I have no doubt in my mind that it's not going to happen.
I have no doubt either. I have no doubt either. And I just want to say one more thing. You are achieving so much because to the extent you're afraid, you do it afraid. And whatever I asked you to do, you did it. And when I, gave some constructive criticism and I go, you got to go deeper, Jackie. You got to think about this, that, and the other. You were like, okay, with a smile on your face, you said, got it. I will do it.
Well, that's one thing that makes you different too. It's like a lot of people are so afraid of hurting people's feelings. I'm trying to build a business. I don't want the sugar-coated and the surface level information. I want someone to dive deep. I want them to pull out my gifts and talents and really say, this is what's going to help you. And that is what a true mentor and coach does. They don't just give you just a little bit. They say, I helped her, girl. Like, nobody wants that. They want the real tools and be pushed to that next level to make it happen. And that's why I consider you a dear friend, a mentor, a coach. I refer any of my friends to you if they're struggling in their businesses, or even people are like, oh, I have my business under control. And I'm like, well, listen to these videos and still see if you feel that way after. And a few of my friends have signed up because they're just like, she really cares. She really knows her stuff. And I just thank God for you, Judy. I really do. I don't know what I'd be doing if we didn't meet in February, and however that happened, thank God for it.